Have you ever wondered what the true cost of helping someone is? We often think of it in terms of money, time, or effort. But sometimes, the cost is far more profound, something that changes you forever. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's a story about a man named Arthur, a story that might just change the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. Arthur wasn't a hero, at least not in the traditional sense. He was a simple librarian, a man who found comfort in the quiet rustle of pages and the smell of old books. His life was a neat collection of routines: work, a quiet dinner, and an evening spent with a classic novel. He was content. But one rainy Tuesday, his orderly world was turned upside down. As he was closing the library, he saw a young man, barely out of his teens, huddled under the awning, shivering. The young man, whose name was Leo, had been kicked out of his home. He had nothing. No money, no place to go, no one to turn to. Arthur's first instinct was to direct him to a shelter, to pass the problem on to someone else. It was the sensible thing to do, but something in Leo's eyes, a flicker of despair mixed with a desperate plea for help, stopped him. Against his better judgment, Arthur invited Leo to stay with him for a few days, just until he could get on his feet. Those few days turned into a week, then a month. Arthur helped Leo find a job, get a haircut, and buy some new clothes. He taught him how to cook, how to manage his meager earnings, and how to open a bank account. He was giving Leo a second chance, a fresh start. On the surface, it was a beautiful story of kindness and redemption. Arthur's friends praised him, calling him a saint. But they didn't see the hidden cost. They didn't see Arthur's carefully constructed world slowly crumbling. His quiet evenings were gone, replaced by the noise of Leo's television and late-night phone calls. His savings account, once healthy, was now dwindling from the extra expenses. Arthur started losing sleep. He was constantly worried about Leo. Was he going to work? Was he staying out of trouble? He felt a sense of responsibility that was both suffocating and exhausting. The simple man who loved his routines was now living in a state of constant anxiety. He was losing a part of himself, the quiet, peaceful man he used to be. This was the shocking cost of helping someone, the emotional and mental toll it took on him. One night, Arthur came home to find the apartment empty. Leo was gone. He had taken a significant amount of cash from Arthur's desk, along with a few valuable first-edition books. Arthur treasured. There was a note on the table. It was short, filled with misspelled words and apologies. It said he was sorry, but he needed the money for a big opportunity. Arthur was devastated. It wasn't just about the money or the books. It was the betrayal. It was the crushing weight of his failed attempt to help. He had given a piece of his life, his peace of mind, his trust, and it had been thrown back in his face. He felt foolish, naive. The world he had tried to keep at bay had finally broken in and shattered his life. For weeks, Arthur was a ghost. He went through the motions of his job, but the joy was gone. The library, once his sanctuary, now felt like a cage. The silence he used to cherish now felt deafening, amplifying his feelings of failure and loneliness. He told himself he would never help anyone again. It was too expensive. The cost was too high. This is the point in the story where you might expect me to say Arthur was wrong, that he should have been more careful. But that's not the lesson here. The real story, the powerful part, is what happened next. Months passé. The sting of betrayal began to fade, replaced by a dull ache. One day, a letter arrived at the library, addressed to Arthur. It had no return address. Inside was a money order for the exact amount Leo had taken, plus extra. There was also a longer letter, written in much neater handwriting. Leo wrote that he had hit rock bottom after leaving. The big opportunity was a scam, and he lost everything. Alone and ashamed, he remembered the things Arthur had taught him. He remembered the patience, the kindness, the belief that he could be better. So, he started over. He got a construction job in another town, worked hard, and saved every penny. He was paying Arthur back. Not just the money, but the trust. He ended the letter by saying, "You didn't just give me a place to stay. You showed me what it was like to have a home. You taught me that I was worth something. I'll never forget that." Arthur sat in his office, the letter trembling in his hands, and for the first time in months, he cried. But these weren't tears of sadness or anger. They were tears of understanding. He finally understood the true cost of helping others. The cost isn't the money you spend. It's not the time you give up. It's not the sleep you lose. It's the risk of being hurt, betrayed, and disappointed. It's a terrifying price to pay. But here's the secret. When you pay that price, when you invest a piece of your soul into another human being, you don't actually lose it. You plant it, and sometimes, in the most unexpected ways, it grows into something beautiful. Something that not only changes their life, but comes back to enrich your own in ways you could never imagine. Arthur's act of kindness, with all its pain and struggle, wasn't a failure. It was an investment in humanity. It didn't have an immediate return. It came with heartache and doubt, but in the end, it yielded a dividend of immeasurable value, the redemption of one life and the profound affirmation of another. So, what does this mean for us? It means that we shouldn't be afraid of the cost of helping. Yes, it's risky. Yes, you might get hurt. But avoiding that risk means missing out on the deepest, most meaningful connections we can have. It means turning our backs on the very thing that makes us human. The next time you see someone in need, you might hesitate. You might think of Arthur and the pain he went through. And that's okay. Being cautious is wise. But don't let the fear of the cause stop you from acting. Remember the end of the story. Remember that your act of kindness, no matter how small, could be the seed that grows into a forest. You don't have to save the world. You just have to be willing to pay the price to help one person. You have to be willing to risk a piece of your heart, because the return on that investment, the knowledge that you made a difference, is the most valuable thing you will ever own. Arthur learned that true wealth isn't what you keep for yourself, but what you give away. The shocking cost of helping others is that it costs you a piece of yourself. The beautiful truth is that it gives you back so much more. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that aims to inspire and motivate. Until next time, be brave, be kind, and don't be afraid to pay the price.